Hey guys, Steven here with SCS Pickleball, and today we're going to be diving into the new TruFoam Waves from CRBN. This is probably going to be one of the easiest reviews I've ever done, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dig straight into it. So CRBN sent me all four of the new TruFoam Waves, and you know, there's not a whole lot to talk about here, to be quite honest. It's not really that big of a difference. You know, the price is the same, $280. You can still use code STS Pickleball to save 10%, making it $252, I believe, after discount code. It is UPA, USAP, and PB Core 0.43 certified, which is nice. You know, there is a little bit more grit on the face, but it's also a different feeling off the face. You know, honestly, you know, the TLDR on this, smaller sweet spot than the original TruFoam Genesis series, relative spin. You know, when you do hit it off the sweet spot, it is just, you know, a little bit more pronounced in power. But outside of that, that's pretty much it. It has a worse sweet spot, maybe a little bit more power off of the smaller sweet spot that it does have, and pretty relative spin. What they've done here, and I'll throw up a little image on the screen, but they've basically just cut out some wave patterns in the full foam core, right? So Gen 4 paddle, full foam core, and these, I don't know, it seems like these waves are fairly arbitrary to me. You know, in their original TruFoam Genesis series, they had little hole cutouts built out through the paddle, and that felt a little less arbitrary to me. It felt more interesting, more objective as far as the general pattern of it. The waves, I almost feel like, is their way of kind of tailing off the hype of the Ripple from Rhombus or something. I don't really know where it came from, to be honest, but so outside of that sort of arbitrary pattern, I will say that the first time I picked these paddles up, I started off with the TruFoam Wave 1, and I don't know, it just felt weird. You know, it was one of those paddles where, like, I was really excited to put it down. You know, I put it back in my bag after just a couple games and figured maybe I was just having an off day, you know. So texted a couple people that also had the paddles and was like, hey, you know, like, am I just having an off day, or do these paddles feel sort of underwhelming in comparison to what we were expecting, especially with all the other full foam paddles out right now, right? With huge sweet spots, power and control, super top tier spin numbers, just massive sweet spots, right? These are sort of just non-flattering off the face, right? And you also don't get the benefit of, you know, like with the Quanta series from Rhombus, right? You don't get the benefit on these of adding weight and really unlocking some sort of hidden potential here, right? So weight doesn't help these. The sweet spot is tiny. The spin is solid. The power is good. We can go ahead and dive into some metrics right here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up some metrics on the screen for just general metrics, swing weight, twist weight, grip circumference, grip length, all that good stuff. So swing weight on the CRBN 1 comes in at 117.64. The twist weight comes in at 5.76. So really no big difference there, right? So we were really hoping that the CRBN TruFoam Waves 1 would be coming in with a little bit of a lower swing weight, because the swing weight was rather high on the original TruFoam Genesis 1. So no real update there. The CRBN TruFoam Waves 2 came in at a swing weight of 111.4 and a twist weight of 6.94. A really nice twist weight value there. And pretty relative to the original swing weight of the TruFoam Genesis Series 2. As far as the CRBN 3 waves, the swing weight came in at 118.2, still a little high. Doesn't really give you a whole lot of ability to customize. But if you're a person that likes a stock paddle, then, you know, maybe that would work for you. But, you know, twist weight 6.59, which is pretty decent for the shape. And then we have the CRBN Waves TruFoam 4, which is going to come in at a swing weight of 110.45 and a twist weight of 6.47, which for a hybrid paddle is a very good swing weight and twist weight combination there. But let's go ahead and get into the juicy metrics here. So we'll go ahead and dive into spin, power, pop, sweet spot, and control real quick. So I'll go ahead and throw up all the metrics for all four of these paddles on the screen right now. And you can see that, you know, the power is a little bit higher than the original TruFoam Genesis was, you know, maybe like, you know, maybe 0.3 higher per paddle. You know, the pop is relative. The sweet spot is less, you know, quite a bit less. And then the control is also less because the sweet spot's less, right? So, you know, if the sweet spot's smaller, you're not going to be able to have as much control or consistency shot to shot. When you're dinking or doing drops, if you hit it outside of the rather small sweet spot on this paddle, it does die off really hard. And, you know, I've had a lot of balls not even make it over the net, which honestly is really hard to digest because, you know, there's so many other paddles in the space right now, full foam with massive sweet spots that offer so much more than these for a lesser price, right? You know, I talk about it all the time, and you know, there really aren't any like objectively bad paddles in the space right now. Are these paddles bad? Absolutely not. But are they as good as their competition in the space, especially for the price? Absolutely not, right? So, I mean, you're talking about a $280 paddle that performs pretty much on par with the Rhombus Quanta, to be quite honest, right? So the Rhombus Quanta, I feel like the only drawback for me on that was the sweet spot. Sweet spot's pretty small on that relative to these, maybe even a little bit smaller than these, but those ones do better with weight. There's something that happens with just the core mechanics and the way that they were designed that the Quanta gets much better with weight, whereas these stay about the same. So yeah, high hopes on the CRBN TruFoam Waves, but you know, it wouldn't be a you know, really a recommendation from me right now, you know, especially when you have things like the Selkirk Boomstick, right? $333, very expensive, but you know, a really objectively very great paddle. The grit is holding up really nicely on that as well. And then you also have paddles like, you know, the Honolulu NF series and the FC Plus, which are just incredible paddles, especially for the price, you know. I would say that those are probably my top recommendation these days, just because they have just a little bit less power, maybe 10 or 15% less power than something like a Selkirk Boomstick, but you know, they also are like half the price, right? So I think price to performance ratio, those are still the best paddles in the space right now. But as far as CRBN Waves go, you know, it's kind of a side grade. If you happen to be looking for something very similar to the TruFoam Genesis series that has a smaller sweet spot and a little bit more power off of the smaller sweet spot that it has, then maybe these could be for you. But that seems few and far between as far as the general marketplace is concerned. And I don't think that there's too many humans on this planet that would fall under those you know, specifics. So yeah, so that's about all I have to say on these. You know, a little bit of an underwhelming release for sure. You know, I'm sure CRBN is always working on things, and so we'll see if they do any updates or do anything in the future. But these are my thoughts on the CRBN TruFoam Waves. You know, I wish that I could give them a glowing review. I love the guys at CRBN. You know, I love you know, my relationship with them and stuff. But I have to be honest because, you know, my channel is my channel, and the last thing I would ever want you guys to do is spend your hard-earned money on anything that isn't worth it, right? And these would not really be a recommendation from me as of right now. So that's it on the CRBN TruFoam Waves. Go ahead and click over here if you want to see the top 5 paddles of 2025 so far. Definitely leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe. Subscribing is the most helpful thing you can do for my channel and for the growth of my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you guys have a freaking wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.